Well, water is something that's always been a very important part of my life. From the time I was a little kid, my mom said I was like a fish. They would throw me into the pool and I just absorbed it. I loved it. I loved the ocean. I just loved everything about water. And I really do think some people have a natural affinity towards it. I mean, our world is mostly water. We're composed of water, so it's natural that sentient beings would care about something that basically gives them life. pH prescription water compared to other water, to me, is a noticeably distinct taste and texture and quality. And what really intrigued me was like, wow, there's somebody who's really dedicated to and focused on providing not only alkaline water, which is suddenly a trend, but water that's structured so that it's actually good for you. And combined with my knowledge about earthing, about various frequencies and how they affect the body. Dr. Tennant's work, Healing is Voltage, so understanding that without voltage you really can't function. Well, what supplies your cells with voltage and what detracts voltage from the body? Water is a source of everything. The water definitely affects me on a day-to-day basis in that it vastly improves my quality of life. And I know that, and I can say that unequivocally, because prior to that, my levels of inflammation were higher. I had such horrible knee pain. I have really bad arthritis in my knee from years of dancing and, snowboarding injuries and whatnot. And I have like no cartilage left. I couldn't bend down, and I'm a very athletic, active person. I couldn't squat. I couldn't do box jumps. I couldn't do anything. And like I was in serious pain all the time. I mean, you could feel the cartilage pieces moving around. It's really disgusting, actually. And so once I started drinking the water, I noticed that my overall joint pain dissipated. I mean, I need surgery. There's still something there, but I can squat, I can do box jumps, I can jog at least. Before I couldn't even jog, not for more than 30 seconds. So I can do that with a lot less pain and a lot more mobility in my body. And I have to think that it's what I'm ingesting. And the only thing that I really changed significantly was the water, because that's what I'm putting in my body more than anything. I drink a lot of water every day. I think if people are educated and they understand the importance and the value of drinking clean, healthy water that actually recharges and nourishes your body, I think that everybody would make the same decision. There's no reason in my mind why you wouldn't. I mean, it's a no-brainer. And the shower filter as well, as we absorb a lot through our skin. So I definitely noticed. That, and I also felt like clearer. I don't know another way to say it. I felt clearer and more hydrated. And you can tell, like, if you drink tap water, straight tap water, especially if it's not from a good source, you're thirsty after you drank an entire glass. I mean, it doesn't quench your thirst. But with the pH prescription water, I found myself actually having to force myself to drink more water because I wasn't thirsty. And I always was so used to that feeling of thirst. I thought, like, well, you're supposed to get thirsty and then drink. Actually, that's not correct. Once you're thirsty, you're already in a state of dehydration. So it was a very interesting shift for me to have to make, to be like, well, I like this water. I'm not particularly parched right now, but I should probably drink it. And so I knew after a month or two that it was hydrating my cells, which is something that I really needed, given my health issues. So, and my dog likes it too. I can tell he likes it. And quality. I'm also very sensitive, so if anyone's gonna taste something, or discern a very subtle quality, it's definitely gonna be somebody who's sensitive. So, but that said, I think anybody, if you gave them regular bottled water or, God forbid, tap water side by side with an incredible product like pH prescription, I don't see how you could not taste and feel the difference. I mean, it's very round. It's very soft. You can usually tell some waters are sharp or hard, like a tap water, for instance. And the pH prescription water is just, I don't know how else to describe it other than round in your mouth and very, very soft and almost sweet. And the first time I gave it to my father, after having told him about it for quite a while, he came to visit where I have one of the filters in the house. And I said, taste this water. And he's really big on water as well. And he said, oh, it's sweet. And this is a guy who would drive 3 hours north from New York City with me every couple of weeks to go to Saratoga Springs, where we would literally take these big glass carboys and fill them up dozens at a time and drive them 3 hours back down, 3.5 hours to New York City, so that we could have this amazing naturally structured water full of really healthy minerals. And what people don't even know is, many people don't know that not that long ago, around World War II even, doctors would prescribe the Saratoga Spring water to sick patients, guys coming back from fighting overseas. It was a whole sort of clinic environment up there where people would go to heal, and they would walk around and sip this water. And learning about places like that also just solidified my opinion that water actually can heal. And if you think about whether you're spiritual or not, there's all these miraculous fountains around the world, or even things like the Dead Sea, the fountain at Lourdes in France. People report being healed all the time. It could be energy, it could be angels, it could be whatever you think that it is. But if you look at it from a scientific perspective, one of the explanations could be that the water is extremely powerful, that there's a vortex of energy there, that the water is charged and structured in a way that works in harmony with the body. I do believe that there are certain points on Earth that have been very sacred for a very long time because ancient people understood this. Saratoga Springs, the Native Americans many years ago held that place as sacred too. And there's a reason for that. So whether they understood the scientific implications or not, they may have, they may not have, they intuitively knew as human beings that this was doing something for them. And that's the way that I feel about drinking the pH prescription water, is that it's doing something good for me. And I know because I've seen improvements in my health. So you can't beat that. If somebody ever said to me, well, what's the value in spending money up front on installing a filtration system when I could go to XYZ warehouse club that I belong to and get crates of bottled water, I'd say, well, assuming you don't give a hoot about the environment, because that is an actual issue here, I guess you might not care. Environment aside, you want to be selfish? Let's talk about your body. Why would you not invest in something that is healing and safe for you versus something coming from an unknown source that's tainted with xenoestrogens because it's in plastic, which is heated at some point and is going to poison your body? So if people don't know what that is, then they should probably check it out because it's a pretty serious concern. And also, the water is doing nothing for you. So over time, you're polluting the environment, you're poisoning, or at the very best, not helping your own body. You have absolutely no idea what the quality control is of this particular substance. You're getting plastic estrogens in your system, and God knows what else from the BPA or the new version of BPA that they have, which is just as bad. Or you could spend some money up front and know exactly what your water is, where it's coming from, have water that's actually healing for you, and that's going to benefit you and your family in the long run. I have no idea why anybody would say otherwise. And that's not me. I don't work for this company. It's just something I feel very, very strongly about because it's true. It's like, what planet do you live on that you possibly would think? First of all, in the long run, it's cheaper to install a filtration system than spend $2 or even $1 per bottle of water. Because you're not going to get the bottle of water for less than $1, really. I mean, unless you belong to one of the big clubs, and then you're paying a membership fee. So if you, over time, you look at the cost benefit analysis, it's more cost efficient to install a filter. But forget the cost. Like, there's no price for your health. How can you possibly put a price on your health? And you're not asking people to spend $20,000, which they would anyway on a car, which does not benefit you in any way, shape, or form in terms of your health. So if the environment is not a factor for people, which I don't see how it's not, and they're selfishly only caring about themselves, then at least care about your own body.